So what's going on, YouTube family? This is a video, as you can see from the title, about My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 1. And Funimation seems to have wanted to do something a little bit different this season. Normally, for the first two seasons, they were actually doing where they would release English and Japanese on the same exact day. Same time, both available, all that good stuff. So for some reason they changed it up, and now they only drop episode 1 in Japanese, which doesn't necessarily matter to me because, granted, I can't read or not even fluent in Japanese, but my love for anime and manga goes deep enough where I don't let that bother me. So I'm going to find a way, if I really want to see it, I'm going to watch it. So in any sense, here we are with Season 3, Episode 1. And they really didn't do too much in regards to like previews like most season premiere episodes do. They went along the lines of kind of just throwing it in there throughout the episode. So, except for maybe the first little area. So, in any sense, the episode starts out in the League of Villains bar, like their little base or whatever you want to call it. But in any sense, there's the Shadow Dude, of which I can never remember his name to save my life. But he's in there with Shigaraki, rather. Hope I don't butcher too many Japanese names, but he's in the bar with Shigaraki, and they just so happen to be watching infomercials about All Might. And of course, the disgust is real. So they turn off the TV, and then Shigaraki goes into this rant about how he finally realized at the end of season 2 his true purpose, his real motivation, which is to have a world without All Might, which kind of seemed like that should have been obvious, but apparently not in any sense. So he's going on this rant about how he can't stand All Might, he hates All Might, and he wants a world without him. And then, in what should have been more of a one-on-one conversation, but the Shadow Dude is a little weird character anyway. Shigaraki goes ahead and gets up, walks out the bar, and just goes for a walk because he's having his contemplations about hating All Might and all that kind of stuff. And the Shadow Dude continues to stand there. Then he starts thinking about the rise of Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku. But then he's talking about how he was born without a quirk. He eventually gets a quirk out of the blue. Then he starts appearing in all these major events and getting press and all that kind of stuff. He scored so high and became such a high-ranked student at the UA school and all that kind of stuff. And then he even talks about his encounter with the hero killer and how the hero killer ends up saving Deku's life because of what he sees in him and all that kind of stuff. So that was an interesting little take. I guess we'll see where they take that particular deal. But in a sense, then they clear out and they cut to Midoriya, who is in his room thinking hard like he always is, and he's actually lifting some dumbbells while he's thinking about his summer vacation plans because now the school year is officially over, and he doesn't want to slack off because of the fact that he knows where he's come from with this power and what he's got to work toward to not only maintain where he's at, the 10% of all for one that he can only use, but continue to get stronger and make the power his own. So in that regard, so he's just thinking away, what should I do? And then just randomly out of nowhere, Kaminari and Minetta, of all people, knock on his door and say, "Hey, you want to go do an endurance training at the school gym, at the school pool?" And it's like, what? Kaminari and Minetta, of all people, wanting to do some work? What? There's got to be something behind this. So, in any sense, yeah, he's like, yeah, being the studious guy, and not only that, he was just thinking about it, that Deku is, he's like, yeah, let's do it. So then he goes here with some to the school, and then they finally get the final approval from the teachers, who, and right before that happens, they're actually talking about the different students in Class 1A, and telling them about where their particular powers and what they can do with them and all that kind of stuff. And then after that happens, they kind of like go into, once they get that approval, they end up getting the real truth behind why Minetta and Kaminari actually wanted to do this to begin with. Because Minetta decided he accidentally overheard the females um, having a conversation about doing something with swimming suits and working out and hanging out and all that kind of stuff. So his perverted little mind was like, hey, girls in bathing suits. Huh. So yeah, his perverted little mind got going, and so therefore that's what made them want to do the same thing. Come to find out, Deku and his studious self was like, hey, you know what? Won't we invite everybody? So he invites everybody, and ends up the whole classroom 1A is there. So then all the guys are doing their working out, and the girls are just chilling, having fun, sunbathing. But to at least Kaminari's surprise and disappointment, they're not wearing the skimpy bathing suits that he was expecting. They're wearing one pieces, which Minetta, Captain Perv, um, is still pleased with that. He's like, hey, I'm still in half and I don't mind. Hey, a win is a win. Women in tights. So, in any sense, so then they proceed, and with all the guys there, Mr. Strict and by the book, Ida decides he wants to go in and be like, hey, well, we're going to do this by the book. We're going to do this, as he always is. And ends up, you know, getting a contest started, so to speak. And then in walks none other than Bakugo. So then Bakugo comes in, talking his trash, talking about, don't hold back, don't hold back. If you do, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to smash you. I'm going to pound you. Of course, his usual typical, over aggressive self. But in any sense, so the competition gets underway. Um, they do a 50-meter swim across the pool, which, when you think about it, 50 meters is a long freaking distance. But then again, we are talking about kids with superhero power, so 50 meters to them wouldn't be bad. Not to mention, some of them don't even swim. Like in the first race, which has Bakugo, hold on a second, was it Bakugo? Yeah, Bakugo was in the first race, and this Joker doesn't even swim. He freaking uses his quirk and like jumps over the whole entire pool, and then they're like, "You didn't even swim," and he's like, "It's freestyling." So, so they just everybody's a little bit afraid of Bakugo, even though some people laugh at him and whatnot. Sometimes they just, well, I don't even know if it's really an intimidation. Sometimes they just like, hey, you know what, whatever, who cares? So, in a sense, they go on to race number 2, which has a very similar result. This time, uh, Todoroshi was actually the winner, of course, but um, this Joker uses his ice power to just glide across the water. Again, no swimming, but in any sense, glides across the water, and then when it gets to the end, it's like, you were supposed to swim. And he just looks at him like, really? So, on to the third race, which had Deku. Deku, of course, is the only one that really swims. Well, no, everybody in his race actually swims. So, no, never mind. Take that back. Yet again, I was actually going to say that everybody in his race swam, but then Ida happened to be in his race, who was using his jet-powered legs to just run on the tightrope. And actually, he didn't even run. He just kind of scooted across it. Don't know how that works, but okay. In any sense, so Ida's cheating, like technically cheating, like Bakugo and Todoroshi, and so he's gliding on and realizes, oh shoot, Midoriya just pulled up beside him. And so they have this little thing at the end of the race where Midoriya decides to finally actually use his quirk and, you know, photo finish time victory. So that was pretty cool. Everybody's like, "Good job, Midoriya. Go ahead. Now you got it. You did it. Good job." So everybody's still talking about bragging about him, and then they do a cutscene. But they do a cutscene to Midoriya and Ida, who are having a conversation because Ida admits that he was skeptical about Midoriya even being in UA, and how he felt like he was a coward, and he was like, I didn't really imagine us being this close, and us being this good of friends because of how I initially thought about you. Man, this thing, I don't know what this is, but I really wish it was gone. But in any sense, so then they start kind of recollecting on everything up to this point and how they bounced off each other with each dilemma. More of that kind of um, reminiscing and flashbacks of all their experiences. That as they were talking, Ida was like, "Well, you were reckless in all these different situations, from the classroom training, the battle combat training, the initial race where we were beating up the robots and whatnot for points." He was like, "You're pretty reckless, but I think what actually drives how you drive everybody is by your tenacity," which is pretty interesting. So I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Uh, Dude got a lot of heart, and he's gonna do what he can to do what's right." So that's impressive and worth congratulating. So Ida was like, "You're going to continue to be my good friend, and you're also going to be. I'm also going to continue to use you as a rival to be better." So then, before that final race between them all started, Todoroshi actually even thinks about his conversation during the games with Deku, how he felt inspired by him because he was like, because everybody already knows that Todoroki was having his inner beef about using his dad's quirk, which of course everybody, of course, again knows that he's got his mom's quirk, which is ice, and his dad's quirk, which is fire. Because of all of the strife he's gone through in his life, he decides that he does not want to use his dad's power for anything. So, therefore, while he's fighting Deku in the games, Deku's holding his own for, believe it or not, and Todoroki is still like, hey, I'm not going to use my dad's power. And you can tell that his ice power is getting is wearing him down. Like his body is starting to freeze over, his movements are getting slow and all that kind of stuff. So then Deku actually gives him this inspirational speech and was like, I understand you're trying to make sure that you don't use your dad's power, but it's your birthright. It's your power. It's not his. Make it your own. Do this, and you'll feel better about yourself. So then he actually combines his ice and his fire power, and that's when he does what he does. But in any sense, like I said, Todoroki was thinking about that particular thing before their race, that final race between Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku even took place. But then, again, Bakugo, or as Deku calls him, Kachan, comes in out of nowhere and starts threatening everybody again. It was right before the final race, because Bakugo comes in and is like, this final race is all between me and you better not take it easy on me, Todoroki. Of course, he calls him some other stuff, but in any sense, he was like, you better not take it easy on me, and you better not either, Deku. Of course, he calls him some other stuff in that regard too, but we won't really touch on that. However, so he's like, y'all don't take it easy on me, and I'm going to beat you. I'm going to smash you into the ground. I'm going to take it for everything it's worth. So they get to the finish line. They get to the starting line, and they're about to take off. In fact, they jump into the pool while in midair, sink. All of a sudden, Mr. Aizawa comes in and ruins the fun. So he's like, it's 5 o'clock and you gotta go home. And they're like, oh, but Mr. Aizawa, he's just getting to the fun part. He's like, what did you say? And everybody's like, oh, nothing. We're going home. Sorry. I'll let you. So then everybody pieces out, gets going, doing their own thing like that. And when that happens, they do another cutscene where we catch up with All Might. All Might, actually, with his best friend who's a cop. I don't remember his name, but he's talking to that guy about the running with the hero killer and all that kind of stuff. The first attack on the USJ and from the first season and all that kind of stuff. How the kids have overcome all these different objectives and they seem like they're being targeted and what's going to come of that and what are we going to do and all that kind of stuff. They're just discussing. We need to come up with an idea because this can't keep happening. So by the end of the episode, they're kind of discussing moving the original, because all this is they're getting ready for like a summer training camp type deal, and they had planned to do it at one location, but due to this conversation that All Might and the police guy were having, they decided, hey, you know what, we need to maybe switch it up a little bit, maybe throw a wrench in the idea, because it seems like the League of Villains keeps on finding out where we're going to take the kids, and they keep attacking them for some reason. But in any sense, so that was a quick scene, so to speak. Pretty quick, nothing too heavy or anything like that. But then the final scene of the episode comes to Midoriya and All Might meeting back up on the beach where it all began, and they're like laughing and looking at each other and like, yeah, man, this is where it all began. Deku was thinking about how weak and uh, unready he was to actually become a hero, and then talking to All Might about how the fact that he's happy that he chose him and all this kind of stuff. And All Might then talking about, well, yeah, you were this little weak little joker who really didn't stand a chance of doing anything, but you showed me that you have potential. And so, again, reminiscing on how it all began and all that mushy stuff and all how sweet type stuff. So they shared a big smile and all that kind of stuff. And then the credits. So if for some reason they stop doing the anime, I'm definitely gonna pick up the manga and see what's going on. But in any sense, I think it was a solid episode because they covered a lot of ground, a lot of bases, did a little bit more character development, as well as kind of like still showing off everybody's individual characters and whatnot. And so, a good solid episode. But you guys tell me what you think down in the comments below. And I hope you guys smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get all my videos when I first post them. And I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.